Hello, I'm Mario Anderson, and welcome to In Focus Kentucky, where we take a look at issues that matter to you right here in the Bluegrass State, and we'll talk with the lawmakers, community organizers, and people like you who help shape those policies. Today, we're focusing on affordable housing concerns in Kentucky, and we'll talk to those around the state creating new programs to help those in need. Throughout the state of Kentucky, people are struggling to find housing that matches their income. The housing market crisis of the 2000s was harsh on Americans, and some are still trying to find their footing, including those who have served our country. We recently spoke with military veteran J.D. Parker, who, thanks to the services provided by the Lexington Urban League's affordable housing program, is on his way to purchasing his first home.
Oh, it's a phenomenal feeling.
That feeling J.D. Parker is referencing is because he and his wife are just weeks away from a goal they have been working towards for several years.
Be able to partner with an organization like the Urban League, who has such a rich history of helping people in the community, it's just a great feeling to know that such committed people have your back and are committed to seeing you and your family succeed, especially on the path to home ownership, which was our goal from the beginning.
After completing multiple tours of duty overseas in the Marine Corps, Parker says he returned back to his home state of Kentucky, but quickly realized he had no idea where to start in the home buying process until he was connected with Lexington's Urban League, which specializes in helping African American and low-income families receive affordable housing.
So the Urban League basically provided the property. The Department of Veterans Affairs provided the subsidy. I paid a percentage of the rent, and basically it put me on the path to home ownership.
And while J.D. says that path has been a learning experience with many ups and downs, he's looking forward to tackling his next mission, securing keys to a home that he owns.
You know, my wife and I feel that doing things like beautifying the yard, planting flowers, having a vegetable garden, we participate in that mission that the Urban League has of changing that negative perception, because what we show is we take pride in this community. It's very empowering to know that we're going to have a piece of the American dream very soon.
Joining me now is P.G. Peoples, Senior President and CEO of the Lexington Urban League, a nonprofit group who has focused its energy on assisting African Americans and other citizens by providing affordable housing, education, and even scholarships. And thanks so much for joining us once again here on In Focus Kentucky.
My pleasure, Mario. Thanks for having us.
Hey, we're happy to have you here, and let our viewers know what the Urban League is and then how you personally got involved.
Okay. Urban League, by definition, is a private, not-for-profit social service organization, and mission statement speaks to working with minorities and other similarly disadvantaged populations in the community, all toward moving toward equal life, achieving equal life opportunities. And you know, we say we do that by designing certain programs that address certain community needs, and then make those programs available to the community, and hopefully benefit individuals, families, and the community.
And we've previously had you on the program to talk about a lot of the great work that you are doing in the community here throughout Lexington and Central Kentucky. But also we have you on this program because you're celebrating a major milestone this year,
yes.
50 years of the Lexington Urban League. So talk about that and how exciting it is and for you and those at the organization. Exciting
is the operative word here. 1968, in May of 1968, the local Urban League received its what you would call charter to operate. But back up from that, a few years before that, some local people had started an initiative to get an Urban League chapter started here, or an Urban League affiliate started here, which meant that they had to raise the necessary funds to meet the requirements as established by the National Urban League. And so the first couple of years they did the fundraising. They got the affiliate charter that summer, opened the Urban League in October of '68, and we've been going, we'd like to say, strong since. I've been involved with the Urban League 49 of those 50 years. How I got involved, it just happened. I was going to UK. During my last semester, I was doing my student teaching, and I was staying at what was the old the YMCA that served the African American community on West Second Street. They opened the first office in that building, so I went down, introduced myself to Mr. Brown, who had come here from New Jersey to open that office, start volunteering with them, and here the next year I was working for the Urban League and have been there ever since.
And you have seen many, the good, the bad, and the ugly with the over these years, and you've been able to accomplish a lot of different things in your 49 years with the Urban League. So what are some of the things that stand out of major accomplishments that you all have been able to achieve?
We like to think we've done a lot in this community. First of all, let me just say how good the community has been to us. This Lexington is a caring, can-do community. And if you've got an idea or a concept and a mission and a desire to work, this is the place to be. Now, what has over the years become what we refer to as the signature activities of the Lexington Urban League is affordable housing. And let me say, not just affordable housing, but safe, sanitary, decent affordable housing. Because there historically has been a lot of housing, but it wasn't been the kind of housing. It was not the kind of house that you would want to live in, I would want to live in, or we would want families to live in. So what we did started in about 1984. We did a community assessment that showed the need for more of the kind of affordable housing that I talked about. So we put together a corporation, a development corporation, that was going to address that need. So we had to raise the funds to get the corporation started. We connected with the Kentucky Housing Corporation, who are the state housing finance agency, who helped us get our first loans, our first construction money, and we started by buying up dilapidated units on Chestnut Street. We bought four units over there. We rehabbed them. In the process of rehabbing them and selling them, another need that we wanted to address was workforce. So we had a curriculum design, and we started working with primarily African-American men who were returning to the community from prison. So it was a job training program, a housing rehabilitation program, a community development program. It was a win-win-win project. And we did that from '84 to about 2003 or 4, building and putting in place about 159 housing units.
Wow, that's a major accomplishment for sure. And how, just kind of going forward, you've been able to accomplish so much so far, but many more years are ahead. So what are some of the goals for the future with that?
Well, our philosophy about growth is that it's maintained. It's a sustainable growth, and that it's strategically planned. That we're not we know who we are, we know what we do, and we want to continue doing that well. So housing is still in our future, and we're in the process now of doing some fundraising to sustain our housing program, because there's still as much of a need in this community, especially brought on by some of the changes that are taking place in the urban core of Lexington. If you go through downtown Lexington now, especially north of Main Street, where most of the minority people live, you see some tremendous changes taking place. That's good, in a sense. We're about development and change, but we are absolutely against development that displaces people. Gentrification is something that is of concern to us right now, because last thing we want to see is elderly families who have lived in their homes for their lifetime, and then because of changes and the tax rates change, and these people are no longer able to live in their own homes. So we're concerned about that, and we're watching that. And we also want to continue providing units in these neighborhoods that are affordable.
Coming up, more with PG Peoples of the Lexington Urban League, but first, Lexington Mayor Jim Gray recently recognized the Urban League for its accomplishments.
A big congratulations to PG Peoples and the Urban League for 50 amazing and fantastic years. 50 years of contributing to our city and our citizens. The Urban League is all about affordable housing, job training, mentoring, leadership, education, and so much more. Lexington would simply not be the city it is today without the contributions and the leadership of the Urban League. And on a personal note, I just want to thank PG for his wisdom and his counsel while I've been mayor. PG, you have been a real inspiration. Thank you. Thanks also to the dedicated Urban League staff and to the citizens who have supported the work of the Urban League. These first 50 years have been remarkable, and here's to the next 50.